Welcome to Secrets of a Bridal Seamstress podcast, where we hear stories from fellow seamstresses just like you. We're able to share their success stories. We learn from wedding industry pros for the best business tips, and we get to hear from fellow sewists and crafters to hopefully inspire our creativity and our love for sewing. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you're a bridal seamstress, I'd also like to invite you to check out our Bridal Seamstress business membership. We have a community of women that can testify to the power of genuine connection, friendship, vulnerability, the power of our six-figure seamstress method, and a genuine connection found in a business mentorship like this. All right, let's dive into the episode. Hey friends, welcome back to Secrets of a Bridal Seamstress podcast, our Six-Figure Friday mini episode series. Today's tip of the week is all about just self-improvement, even in the midst of busy season, because the six-figure seamstress continues learning and looks for opportunities to just keep learning, okay? And this can come in a lot of different ways. So you could think of like local networking groups that you could learn from other local business owners. Maybe you can consider purchasing an online course and just continuing your skills or continuing to learn a particular sewing skill or a communication skill. You could learn not just from like the wedding industry education, but other like sewing educators, or if there's a particular part of like being a business owner that you want help with, there are courses for everything. So you could just do a little Google search and purchase a course to listen to while you're sewing. But the act of just intentionally growing and putting forth like time and energy into bettering yourself as a business owner or bettering yourself as a sewist is truly priceless. And I know if you're on my email list, you've been receiving emails about an upcoming event that's happening in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So I want to talk to you about the event, and you might be thinking, yeah, there's no way that I could make that. I don't know, like for whatever reason, that's fine. But think about another similar event that you could plan to go to, because as bridal seamstresses, I think it's so important to set aside time to connect with others who are doing the same work as us, because a lot of us work alone, or you might have like one assistant or two, but really like as the business owner, you are the one making the rules or making the decisions, and that can feel overwhelming. Or maybe you're on the other side of this and you're the employee listening to the podcast and you're like, yeah, we're just on a different level because like they're the owner and I work for them. And so I feel lonely. Loneliness is a very common thread. Oh, pun intended there, as a bridal seamstress. And so as much as we can intentionally get together, continue our skills, I mean, online courses are great, but when you can connect in person and like share a meal together and like just be together, there's magic in that. And that's why after our SBS retreats, we're just like, whoo, like totally on fire. And it's like this rejuvenation for our business. And if you can find a place to connect with other professional sewists, do it. It's gonna be such a refreshment for you. So what's happening in June is called the Bridal Summit, and it's hosted by Wendy Rivera and the Do You Speak Bride team over at Ava Loren Bride. Okay, so Wendy owns Ava Loren. She has a location in Greenville and then also Fredericksburg. Both of them are like stunning. Ava Loren in Fredericksburg, one of my friends said it's like the Disneyland for bridal gowns. And she was spot on. Like, it is unbelievable. It is such an experience. And Wendy is so committed to creating incredible experiences for her clients. She uses the term surprise and delight, so often when she's talking about her experience for her clients. Like, how can we surprise and delight the client from their first appointment to when they pick up the wedding dress, to when they drop it off for cleaning and preservation or whatever? How can you continue to just make the experience so special for them? So the shop alone is incredible. So when you come to the summit, most of us will be staying at the Publisher Hotel, and it's just a few blocks away from Ava Loren Bridal. So last year we walked there together. There's so many cute like shops and restaurants in downtown Old Fredericksburg. It's like the most charming little city. It's so cute. And what's great is you don't need you just need to get there. You don't need to have a rental car or whatever. Like, we'll all be together, walking together. And it's a 2-day event. So last year's schedule was a little bit different. This year we've tailored it a little bit more to serve the seamstresses and also to help the seamstresses serve bridal stylists, because this event brings bridal stylists and bridal seamstresses together. And I am so passionate about that. So Wendy and I both are. So I think that's why we're just so excited about this upcoming event. So day one on Monday, June 15th, seamstresses will be working with me and also Wendy Rivera. Wendy's going to be talking about how to navigate communication issues in the fitting experience. So this year we're really focusing on just creating the best client experience. We're going to talk about what comes up in fittings that can feel a little uncomfortable for us seamstresses and how to navigate those challenges and just keep our poise and stay calm and eventually just have a really happy client at the end of the day. And Wendy is like the queen of this. If you've heard her speak, you totally know what I'm talking about. Like, communication queen, okay? During day one, we'll have breakfast together, we'll walk somewhere for lunch, or maybe we'll have lunch there. I'm not quite sure on those details. And then we'll have dinner together as seamstresses at one of the local restaurants. So it's, like I said, it's just a really fun, casual time to be together after the sessions are over on Monday. And then on Tuesday, the first portion of the day will be with bridal stylists. So we're going to actually have like a Q&A panel. So I'll be speaking to the stylists, and then there'll be some Q&A opportunities where seamstresses in the room can answer the questions for stylists as well. And then we'll have a lunch together so we can share ideas and answer questions for them. And then the second portion of that day, we'll have our own time as bridal seamstresses, where I'll be teaching a couple specific trainings about just elevating the client experience. And we'll kind of be idea sharing and things like that. So I know it's in June, okay? And I know like I've already gotten some DMs where it's like, that's busy season. And yeah, it is. And we get to choose what we do during our busy season and how we prioritize our time. And I know that like sometimes it's like, oh, it's impossible to get there. But if it is possible for you to make time for this event, it's going to give you such a boost for the rest of the season, because that's how I felt last year. I mean, I was like teaching it, but I came home and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to like just make the rest of my busy season even better from what I learned from my peers. So I came home and I started implementing like 3 new things that I learned from other members that I feel like really made the season turn out even better. You know what I mean? Because I was keyed into specific details of my client experience that I wasn't thinking of before June. So if you want to be involved in this, there'll be a link in the show notes here. The tickets are $3.99, and then you'll be responsible for your own travel and your own lodging. And I'll be sending a lot of details along the way to help you prep. You do not need to be an SBS member to attend this event. So our other retreats that are our inclusive retreats, and those are for members only, but this event is for non-members. So if you're even just thinking about getting to know me better or know other seamstresses in your area without the commitment of joining the membership, this is a great middle ground. And you'll not only be learning from me, but more importantly, from Wendy Rivera, and then you'll be able to idea share with other seamstresses and bridal stylists. And you just have that power of like in-person connection that's going to stick with you for the rest of the season. So let me know if you have questions about that particular event. But if that's not in the cards for you and you're like, oh, there's no way I could do that, I live across the country, or I also will say before I move on, if you are on the East Coast, Fredericksburg, I just feel like as a West Coaster, East Coast people, I feel like everything is so close for you, okay? So if you live on the East Coast, you could make this happen and meet me in Fredericksburg, because everything is like a train ride away, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I totally have a misconception, but I feel like compared to the West Coast, East Coast is like so like super condensed and like accessible. So by train, I don't know. Anyway, if this is not in the cards for you, find something else to attend this year. It could be a sewing event, like a sew expo, take a class somewhere. Like I mentioned before, an online course is great. Even better if it can be in person. Sign up to go to like a networking event with some other local business owners, or find out where your local WIPA is meeting and go to a WIPA meet. Meet up with other, not just seamstresses, but other wedding professionals to talk about like what's happening in the wedding industry. It's just, you want to continue learning, because when we get in this rut where it's like everything is predictable, or we know all the things, or we already know the best way to handle difficult clients, or we already know the best way to provide the very best client experience, we're limiting ourselves and we're limiting our clientele. We're limiting our business because our ego is getting in the way, right? So if you can't make it to Fredericksburg, that's fine, but you can make it to another event where you can learn to make yourself better for yourself, your business, your future clients. And that I really truly feel like is the difference between a seamstress who makes it past that six-figure or multiple six-figure mark, because there's that curiosity and that desire to learn. And I can't tell you even just how many members in our membership, when they dig in to the curriculum and they're digging into the trainings and the conversations, those are the ones who are there like, oh my gosh, wow, the revenue's coming in. I'm like, yeah, I know. Sometimes when people come in, they kind of like dabble a little bit, or like, oh, I didn't really see the training, or like, oh, I couldn't make that call. They're struggling to find that momentum, because a lot of the momentum comes from learning new things and being open to new ideas and applying like just these new truths that you can soak up. So keep up with that education. You won't regret it. If you want ideas of where live events could be, I could help you source things that are closer to home for you. But if Fredericksburg could make the cut, I'd love to see you there. So if you have any other questions about the upcoming Bridal Summit, reach out to me. You can DM me. If you're on my email list, you can reply to one of my emails. And I just would love to do whatever I can to convince you to hang out with us in Fredericksburg. I think we're limiting the attendance to 25. So let me know if you want to be part of that number, and I hope to see you there. Okay, I'll see you next weekend, but I hope between now and then you're just advancing your education somehow. Maybe it's just with like an audiobook. I mean, gotta start somewhere, right? Okay, have a good weekend, and let me know how you are advancing your education as a bridal sewist.